Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, there was a major twist in a certain AEW debut.
An AEW star's contract is expiring very soon.
Big news on Jim Ross's future.
And more details on Sting's retirement match have been revealed. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Yeah, let's talk about Kazuchika Okada.
Ooh.
He debuted last night on AEW Dynamite as expected, but the debut was not what you expected unless you're very prescient. Is that the right word?
Or you've got the contacts that I have.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, I thought this was really cool. So.
Yeah.
It was reported before the show that Okada was probably debuting on the show, and so it transpired. The Young Bucks, Nick and Matt, Nicholas and Matthew,
Bellend,
assholes, they came out and they were like, we got a big announcement, which I thought was funny because they're kind of taking the piss out of their boss there.
Yeah.
And, you know, they ran through a bunch of stuff. They announced that Hangman Page is, what was he, suspended from the Elite?
Indefinitely suspended from the Elite, yes.
And Kenny Omega's fired from it because he hasn't shown up to work lately, which is quite funny.
Where's he been?
But before they could get their second announcement out, Eddie Kingston came down and was like, shut up, guys.
Yeah.
He literally threw money at them before they fined him. They beat the crap out of him. The coin drops, Kazuchika Okada's music hits, and you're like, oh, cool, he's here to save the day.
It's like, what a weird tag team this is going to be.
Yeah, they're going to do Little Kazu and Eddie versus the Bucks. That'll be cool. But we got something even cooler. He came down in a suit rather than the t-shirt and tracksuit bottoms that he'd been wearing before in AEW. He turned on Eddie Kingston and beat his ass. So he's joined the Elite. That was the second announcement. He's with these just despicable Young Bucks. He's re-debuted in AEW or debuted as a full-time wrestler. He got the graphic and all that.
Yeah, technically the Elite are debuting on Collision this week.
Yeah, they got a trios match. As a heel. So I'm fully into this because he's been toying with heels. He was a heel in the past, like many moons ago, full on. But he's been kind of leaning into that role over the past couple of years, just being a real asshole to people like Kaito Kiyomiya in New Japan. So I think this is really fresh because a lot of people would have just expected Okada to come in to AEW as is.
Yeah.
Like this aura-based babyface. No, he's a rich bitch, for lack of better word.
Correct.
He's sold out on night one, and it's great.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you, Andy. I was really excited, obviously, for Okada to show up. All the rumours suggesting that, Jesus, we're getting Okada this week, and then Mercedes Moné next week. It's going to be a wild few weeks in AEW. Maybe even something in Toronto, perhaps. I don't know.
All of that.
Yeah, as well. And I was just watching it, thinking about it beforehand. Thinking. A lot of people there. How's that going to work out? Ospreay's coming. He's been mint, obviously, but he's hugely over. And Okada coming in is going to be really over as well. I didn't even think, well, if you want to turn him heel, how would you do it? But this is how you do it. You have him turn on one of the most beloved people in AEW, Eddie Kingston. He fits so well in this arsehole trio alongside Nicholas and Matthew. I adored this. I thought it was absolutely excellent. And what a main event last night as well.
I know, the exciting thing is for me as someone who's going to Supercard of Honor, we might get that Eddie versus Okada in that main event. I know it's not an AEW pay-per-view, but I don't care because I'm going to be there in person.
I didn't think of that, yeah.
But the overwhelming thing, and you said this before we came on camera, I think it's a really good point, is that when the music hit and this guy who looked like $1 million in this really simple to understand angle that was explained perfectly by the announcer.
To a huge pop in the arena.
To a huge pop. Contextually, it was perfect. It was really simple, straightforward. The through lines are right there. I was just sitting there thinking, who is this guy?
Where's the video package?
Why should I care about this guy without a 30-minute video package? Why wasn't there a feature-length documentary of Excalibur reading this man's Wikipedia page before the broadcast? It's an absolute disgrace. AEW has a lot to answer for.
One thing he does have to answer for is what is going on with Matt Hardy, because his contract is expiring very soon, and by very soon I mean this month. Fightful Select coming through with the report on this one. Now, of course, Hardy signed with AEW way back in March of 2020, aka the dark times as we remember them. And his contract expires 4 years later. That's this March. Now, Jeff Hardy's contract was supposed to align with Matt's, but due to injuries and time being added on, that's not the case anymore. Yeah. With regards to Matt potentially re-signing, Fightful Select reporting that there have been contacts between AEW and Hardy discussing an extension to the deal, but no word on whether that is confirmed yet or not. He's only wrestled, I think, once in AEW AEW this year, but obviously he's been featured heavily over the last few years. And the Hardy Boys have done a variety of different things together. What do you reckon to this? What do you reckon AEW are going to do about Matt Hardy as well?
I think that they will offer him an extension that aligns with whenever Jeff's one expires.
I agree,
now.
yeah.
So how long was Jeff out with his legal troubles? Like a year, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that? I don't know. I think they're going to do that, and then maybe then when they get to the end of that, they might reassess the situation and go, what do you guys want to do? Because let's not forget, both Hardys have expressed a bit of frustration themselves recently. And look, like I've not been hugely into a lot of their AEW run. I think that time has taken a toll on their bodies, and look, that happens to everyone. It's fine, it's pro wrestling, it's very grueling. So we'll see how it pans out. I do think that maybe they might go, maybe we're not as fulfilled here as we thought we would be. Maybe we'll try something else. Yeah. But I think that's what will happen. I don't think they'll just cut him off. Because, say what you will about what Matt Hardy's done creatively or in matches or whatever.
And Michael Sidgwick does.
Yeah, he's very well liked backstage. Yes. Very well respected guy. And I think they'll retain him. And then I think they'll get to the end of Jeff's contract. I don't think they'll cut one loose and that'd be mean. Yeah. That'd be mean.
I'm conflicted on this because I do sympathise with the fact that it's difficult to take a step back and realise we're not the stars that we used to be, and we kind of need to fit into this card appropriately. Because I saw people saying, and have been saying for the last few years, the Hardy Boys should win all these titles. I don't know if I agree with that anymore. But at the same time, whilst I sympathise with them that it's a tough spot to be in like that, of like, how do I slot in here? I don't think it's the best thing to go about it, bitching and moaning on social media and podcasts, to be honest.
I don't think that's going to result in them getting a bigger push or whatever. Push. There you go. Words back.
But obviously, the Bucks are big fans of theirs, obviously.
Yeah, and like Jericho is a guy with clout in that company. He likes him. I'm
not suggesting you do this, but you could arguably factor that in. The knowledge that people have that the Bucks are fans of the Hardys, and now in their EVP position, they could kind of try and make things a bit easier for them and set them up. And I don't know,
that might be a good way to get them back into a babyface role.
Yeah.
If the Bucks are just total assholes to them, that might actually work quite well.
Yeah, that's a nice gimmick you've got there. We'll take that and that bit of it and that bit of it. Yeah,
that might work quite well. Hey, look, for me, the ideal role for the Hardys would be putting younger teams over at this stage in their career. If they can still do that effectively, I mean, they're still over.
Yeah, what would you like to see Matt Hardy do? And Jeff, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm intrigued to see what people say about this.
Maybe they could get corrupted, become broken again. Let's talk about Jim Ross.
Okay.
We're speaking about people who might be leaving. Let's talk about someone who's staying in AEW. There's been a lot of speculation on his future with his contract coming up and other stuff. Jim Ross is sticking around for another year in AEW. I will read you Jim's the Jimmer. Jamesy, he's a good mate of mine. I'll read you his quote from Grillin' JR. We wrote a new deal. We wrote a completely new deal, no extension, new contract. It was probably the quickest and easiest negotiation I've ever done in my career, all 50 years. That's all because Tony Khan's commitment to me as a broadcaster, and he's always been a fan of my work, which helps your cause when your boss is a fan of your work. Yeah, I mean, if your boss was like, you suck, pal, he's probably not. So yeah, fair enough, Jim.
What contract do you want, you ass?
Yeah, I hate you. Here's $1 million. It never hurts anything, so we got a new deal. I'll be back to do more work. I assume it's going to be centered around the pay-per-views. We're adding more pay-per-views. So this is good in my book, because while Jim Ross has come in for a fair bit of criticism throughout his AEW run, and some of it's been warranted for sure.
I agree, yeah.
I think that nobody is above fair, balanced criticism. Just don't be mean.
No.
He's been really good recently. He's been really good in this kind of coming in for the big matches, make it sound important, make it have some gravitas. Yeah. Yeah,
just to echo your thoughts, and I saw Michael Hamflett tweeting about this last night, I believe, as well. He's found the position for him in AEW. I think, yes, initially you have him, even friends of mine who are very casual wrestling fans, when I was like, there's this new promotion called AEW, the first two things they said, is that the one that Chris Jericho's wrestling in? And is that the one that Jim Ross is commentating on? Yeah. So it's an understandable sort of gateway to initially bring fans in. I think, the word difficult was having him on, and his not necessarily clashing with the commentators, but not necessarily being on the same track with them. But now, they found that sweet spot of bringing him for 1, 2, the big matches, basically, particularly on pay-per-view. And it's, as a wrestling fan who's grown up with Jim Ross, that voice just adds so much gravitas to the big things in AEW.
Like Nick Gage, he's the god of this.
Yeah.
You know, he's just had like a rough few years. And yeah, I could do without the moments where he's like maybe like a bit complaining about the style and stuff. But like recently, he's been really great. So shout outs to Jim Ross. He's doing a good job.
Congratulations to him. Yeah, well deserved in a contract.
He should
extension.
get paid in wrestling forever, really, for what he's done for this great sport.
Let's talk Sting's retirement. Not many people have spoken about Darby Allin's spot where he went through the glass on social media.
Yeah, Twitter was very normal on Monday.
He obviously fights Jay White before potentially going off to Everest, which is just terrifying news to hear.
Have you ever watched like videos of people climbing Everest, man? It's insane.
My dad went to just base camp. And but I thought I might never see him again, to be honest. It was just it's a terrifying situation. But enough about Darby. Sting retired, obviously, in the perfect retirement, arguably.
Yeah, it was. I loved it.
I had no notes on it. I thought it was a brilliant send-off for him. But some interesting developments that we've sort of speculated on in the past has come out from Sports Illustrated, saying one of the only dissenting voices about the finish was Sting. He preferred to give the moment and the momentum to the Bucks, who he holds in extremely high esteem. He obviously chose them to be his final opponents, but it was kind of a love-in, which I really like to hear, because he was like, no, I want to put the Bucks over. But Tony Khan and the Bucks were like, no, this is your retirement, this is about you. Sports Illustrated continuing, that simply was not going to happen, as Khan and the Bucks all firmly believed that Sting should end his career with a victory. And me and Nicholas were talking about this. We mentioned it on WrestleCulture last week, that Sting is a traditional legend, so we assumed you go out on your back, you put someone over as you retire. And then me and Nicholas had the exact same thought process. The match started and I went, really hope he doesn't lose this one.
Yeah, 100%. Ultimately, it was the right thing to do, I think, because it created one of the great feel-good moments of this era.
Yes.
It was just a really nice scene. And yes, like for decades and decades, the traditional wrestling thing has been, if you're leaving the territory or you're going away forever, in this case, you put the next people over. While I'm sure that would have made the Young Bucks really despised and stuff, I wouldn't have wanted to sacrifice what we got.
Yes.
So I'm glad that they told Sting what's what.
And the Bucks still gloated on last night's Dynamite that they retired Sting and they've lost nothing, because now they're aligned because of Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah. And like, they're heels, they can just tell a lie.
Yes.
They can just say, it doesn't count. Like, they can just be assholes and pretend it didn't happen. It's fine. Like, it's fine.
But Sting is now retired and free to attend. It's always sunny at WhatCulture.
He'll be there.
He may not be there. Card is subject to change.
Be there.
But you can still be there. You head to whatculture.com/tickets. VIP tickets sold out. We even added more and they got sold out. So thank you everyone who got the tickets for that. General admission, though, still available. whatculture.com/tickets. It goes down on the Sunday, day 2, basically, of WrestleMania. But you'll have plenty of time. We're going there as well to head over to night 2 of WrestleMania. Come and join us midday, Underground Arts, Philadelphia. whatculture.com/tickets. Right, let's move on to your questions. We take them from our X page at WhatCultureWWE. For the rest of this week, though, we're taking them from our community page. Just scroll down, you'll find the link asking for questions on there. First question today comes from Charlotte Crowley. Thank you for your question, Charlotte. With the possibility of bloodline rules being in the air, I kind of want bloodline rules to happen, if I'm honest.
I've had enough of those, I think.
Yeah, might as well just make it official, eh? What do you think of the idea of them being a variant of an I Quit match between Cody and Roman, where to win, you have to make your opponent acknowledge you?
Oh, that's kind of fun, isn't it? That's kind of fun. Imagine Roman Reigns acknowledging Cody Rhodes to gloat. It'd be the ultimate face in the dirt, babyface wins. Screw you, guy who's been champion for 20 years.
Yeah,
I'm kind of into it. Why not?
I think I like the stipulation. I think they should save that for the Rock Roman next year.
Yeah, because then it's like, it's more tribal chief head of the table. Yeah, Lord.
But I do love the idea, and I've seen a variety of different people pitching it. Bloodline rules, it's just chaos. It's going to be chaos anyway. You can have all the bells and whistles that you want with that. But I love the idea of like, Jimmy and Jay sort of take each other out, whether that be in their match, either night 1, night 2, whatever, or again, whilst the match is going on. And then I just like a parade of people who've been screwed over by the bloodline. I'm talking Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, John Cena, potentially.
Big Bad John.
Coming down and making it so it is just one-on-one Roman Cody, and Cody proves he's the better man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the I acknowledge you match. but maybe for Rock Roman.
What is the most elaborate, stupid, funny, and over-the-top thing they could possibly say in the I Quit situation? Let us know in the comments below.
I like that.
What's the dumbest thing you can come up with?
A bit of a fishy question. Question number 2 comes from Phil Haddock.
Big Bob.
So,
oh God, sorry, Phil.
Sorry, Phil. I'm sure you've heard that a million times.
The captain himself.
I couldn't resist. Hi guys, welcome back, Andy. Thank you, Phil, for that.
Thank you, Phil.
Who are you booking for the main event of All In?
Will Ospreay versus whoever's the world champion.
I was about to say the exact. Will Ospreay versus anyone.
Will Ospreay's going to be the big baby face. He's going to be the biggest baby face star in this promotion. I think that's pretty clear from his presentation so far. He's going to split away from Don Callis and all those assholes. He's going to be presented as the biggest deal in the world, and he's going to win the world title in Wembley. I don't know who'll be champion at that point.
Okada?
Maybe Little Kazu himself. I really need that video package, though.
Yes.
I need one for this Ospreay guy as well, to be honest. But facetiousness aside, the monster pop at the pay-per-view, Will Ospreay's going to be the guy, and I think he should win the world title in the Wembley main event.
Sid just really hit the nail on the head. AEW's got a massive problem, and that's every time Will Ospreay has a match, you're like, oh, everything else is kind of rubbish compared to that.
Everything else feels like it came from 1960.
Him versus Kyle Fletcher last night. Obviously, you're welcome. AEW is a WCPW Legends match. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the thing in my brain says, how does Swerve factor into all this? Because I want him to have a world title reign sooner rather than later. I want to capitalise on it right now. But obviously you've got the world title match next week at Big Business with Joe and Wardlow. And then Swerve's going to have to hold it. And I know they've got several pay-per-views, so they could arguably hot potato it between like Dynasty and Double or Nothing, etc., etc. But yeah, you've got to get a Swerve title reign potentially in there. How do you protect Wardlow in all this? Because I assume Joe retains next week. And then, you've got to try and get... I think Okada Ospreay, but that's selfish because hopefully we'll be in attendance for that one.
Yeah, for sure. Or you could have your cake and eat it and do Ospreay versus whoever the world champion is, and then Okada Omega. Oh my God.
Oh my God, you could have Okada Ospreay for the world title. Ospreay wins, and then Kenny Omega returns. I have no idea what his return time is. But
yeah, he's got a bad illness. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, get well soon. That explains why he's been missing from work. The Young Bucks really should check in on them.
They're complete idiots.
John Oldfield gives us our final question today. Thank you, John, for the
question. Big bad John.
Yes.
I don't know if you're big or bad, John. I'm sorry. This is mean.
He says, greetings, great wrestling minds, and a special welcome back to Murray as well.
Thank you.
With night 1 and night 2 of main events seemingly set, what do you think could open both nights? Surely Bayley versus Io Sky is one of them at least.
Yeah, for sure. You go. I ran out of words.
I think I like the thing they've sort of set up of if you're not last, you're first. In terms of a big bombastic opening. You know, I was lucky enough to be there last year for Cena versus Theory, and I was like, ooh, not sure about this one opening WrestleMania. But yeah, you could do Bayley versus Io on night 1. You could do. That'd be interesting. Rhea versus Becky on night 2.
I would throw that one in the similar slot to Rhea and Charlotte last year.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be of a similar caliber.
It's awesome.
Was Rhea and Charlotte last year, or is my brain...
Yeah, it was last year, because I remember, because I went, I've not really been into this. I'm going to go and get a burger. I went to get a burger, and I was sort of looking as they did the big entrances, so I could take bloody ages WWE entrance, particularly at WrestleMania. And it was thankfully very quick. And I was sort of walking back to my seat, and I was like, this match kicking ass.
So ruled. They beat the crap out of each other.
What about Seth Drew, night 2 opener?
I could see it. I like the idea of bookending it with the two men's world title matches. What about Gunther versus Chad? If that ends up being the match, because from a work rate standpoint, match of the weekend. So, hell yeah.
Yeah, Gunther consistently just having the best match at WrestleMania.
It's almost like he's pretty good. Yeah. This guy.
And he had it 2 years ago where he fought LA Knight at Stand and Deliver.
Of course.
And Tony D'Angelo retired Tommaso Ciampa from NXT.
From wrestling.
Everyone felt sad when I was doing Italian-American impressions in the crowd. Anyway, enough of all that. Thanks for watching. Check out this video.
Peace.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.